your host today. My name is Leroy Jones. I am the founder of Dojo Studios. So before we get into the nuts and bolts of things, who am I? I'm a jack of all trades. I am a graphic designer, which is where it all started. I'm a 3D artist. I'm a character artist. I'm a gamer, so anybody wants to get it in, feel free to come holler at your boy. I'm a teacher and a mentor to my community. I am a podcast host of 3D Dojo Gaming Podcast. I'm also a very vicious sword master. And from everything I just said up there, most important of all, I'm also black and handsome. So why did I start 3D Dojo Studios? So I started because I wanted to build a legacy to save my family and also give them resources that they would need, and also to give them a choice in the world that we have today. I also started it because as I became a game developer, I seen a lot of issues and things that I was facing personally that I wanted to rise up and take the challenge to solve for me and even everyone else that's in the industry. Did you know, it takes between 3 to 5 years to get your first shot to the game industry. Now when I say 3 to 5 years, heavy emphasis on 5. That means that it'll take that long just for someone to say hello there, not to get you to actually land a job. Another thing that is actually starting to rise too is that they're expecting this experience, and at the same time they want you to have a ship game. So what does that mean for people that are graduating college or being self-taught or even just trying to break their way into the game industry? They're going to be at a very big disadvantage and a rude awakening. This next slide is something very personal to me, and that is black talent accounts up to 4% in the gaming industry. And that percentage has recently changed over recent months, because for the past 15 years it's been 2%. So what does that mean? That means if you were to look at your favorite game studio today, you'll probably see 20, 30 to 1. Now this is us collectively as a whole. So if we were to break that down through sex as in men and women or position, that number dwindles. Now I stand before you as a black-owned game studio owner. So basically I'm like an alien on Pluto. And last time I checked, Pluto isn't considered a planet. So what is 3D Dojo Studios? It's actually 3 things. One, it is a community where we house over 400 plus developers and game devs of all kinds and all strengths. I made this for gamers and game devs to come together and unite so we can learn, grow, and create video games together. On the other hand, I knew I was going to make a studio out of it, so I actually made it so I can use it as a marketing hub, so it can get brand awareness through different countries and in this. How did I start this? When I created the community on Discord, that's the main base of it. I treated it like phases. Well, phase 1 was to just get noticed, get myself out there, get the brand out there while I started recruiting, getting people in. Then secondly, I went to phase 2. Phase 2 is more for team building, where they didn't notice, but I was grooming them to becoming game developers and also working in the studio, 3D Dojo Studios. And then once we got that, doing art challenges, workshops, and etc., I went to phase 3. Phase 3 was the game creation side, with thus the birth of 3D Dojo Studios. The other part is it's a game development studio, so obviously that's self-explanatory. We create our own title and make our own games. And then lastly, it is a third-party art house where we provide certain services such as character design, level design, environment design, materials, storytelling, concept, you name it. And also, if you are into CAD or construction, we do interior design as well. So if you ever need to build like a business building mock-up or unit, anything that you may need, we can give you a full real-time preview of it with a character that you can walk through, and you can actually see exactly what you're going to get before you spend the big bucks with contractors. So now, what we're all here for, the title that we've been working on. Now, I'm very proud of this title, mainly because I had to create this through the midst of everything that was going on in the world, which we all know about that. And also, I was able to create a game with 0 budget, which is actually big. So, without further ado, the Paperboy. That is a project that we're working on. So, why not decide to make a game called The Paperboy? For me, I was lucky enough to have a Paperboy in my midst, in my neighborhood, and I want to tell you right now. I hated the guy. Oh my God, the guy was terrible. Just a fucking habit. He used to run around all day slinging a paper where he wanted to sling it in, hit the door, sound like gunshots, break a window, break a vase, and for the love of God, every time it rains, always put paper in the grass. Now I don't know if anybody had any soggy newspaper before, but it doesn't ravel very much. Now, in this title, you'll see our 3 main characters, which is Dion, Brittany, and Tyler, as they try to dodge OG Granny in a neighborhood watch while delivering paper and wreaking minimum happiness, just a little bit. So, who is the neighborhood watch? Who are the people you have to watch out for? We have our first guy, We have Roller Dude. Roller Dude is like our Rico Suave guy. He's the guy that you see on the beach with his chest hair sticking out the button up, and for some reason it's always wrinkly. Comb it out! Next, we have someone near and dear to our hearts. Karen. What can we do without Karen? Karen is always crushing on the streets. She is equipped with yoga pants, but she doesn't work out. She has Starbucks cups in her hand with no coffee in it. She has a very famous Karen hairstyle. Listen, I don't think it's the person. It's the hairstyle. And every last one of them has this hairstyle. I think we need to do some research. Alright, so next we have Rage Nerd. Rage Nerd is the guy that sits on the couch all day drinking beer, playing video games, getting his ass whooped. And he is not a very happy guy, so make sure you watch out for him. And then lastly, we have the very famous, the infamous OG Granny. OG Granny is equipped with an electric unicycle. This is real, by the way. When I thought this idea, I did not know this was real. I was actually driving in the neighborhood, and I was doing 50 to 40. Okay, you didn't hear that. So I was just driving in the neighborhood, and I literally saw the thing pass right by me. It was amazing. But she is equipped with a walker that she does not use. She has on zombie rider slides, and she is always about that issue, and she is very, very hard to intimidating. So, without further ado, let me show you the paper for it. So, when you first come onto the game, you're going to be greeted with the screen right here that action to select basically your username for the leaderboard. So, yeah, that's mine. So, once you do that, you're going to be able to see the controls, regular controls. This right here is to teach you how to use the game, how to play it. I'll then tell you. As soon as you hit play game, you're going to be greeted with our selection screen. In our selection screen, you see our three main characters. You have Dion, Brittany, and Tyler. Also, you see that you will have a bike selection. So in this case, right now we have different skins for bikes, but in the future, what you will expect is you'll have points and you get to upgrade the bikes. Notice too that these are teenagers. They don't ride those bikes that these ride back in the day, the big wheel bike, mountain bike. No, they like the BMX bikes. They like that mongoose. You see how that works? When we're kids, we like mongoose, and we grow up, we love that great goose. So, once you make your selection of character of choice of your bike, you hit start, and you'll be thrown into the game. So, when you are going to the game, there are the certain type of play style that you can expect in this game would be similar to a game called Crazy Taxi. So all my Sega Dreamcast players out there will definitely know what that is. This is also, this is also more into like the newer ages. So it's not like you go into the paper, the bag on the side of the bike, throwing it over your head. No, we're in tech, baby. We're in 2022. So we have a modified mail bag and a modified mail launcher that connects to your wrist like a gauntlet, and instead of throwing it out, you shoot it out. So what is the basis of the game? So the base of the game is obviously to deliver the mail properly. So if you see these arrows that are pointing up and down right now, those are called safe zones. So in that safe zone, if you was to shoot the mail right there, you get your points, life is good. And if you were to shoot it at the doorstep, you get your points, life is good. Notice that the points do vary. Now, what? Oh! I actually forgot about that. That right there is called our asshole car. That's the car that, the kid that got the muscle car passed down to him, that always running stop signs and running lights, and he is a menace to society, so you have to watch out for that, and that is one of the tricks of the game. So, coming back to it. So, like I said, if you deliver the mail properly, that is fine. If you pay attention to the upper right of the screen, you will see star. This is a star system, or you can call this the aggro system. Aggro can be very similar to Grand Theft Auto or Need for Speed. So if you break the law, do anything wrong, or say that you was a damaged piece of property, you will have somebody come out and chase you. And then you will get caught. That is an angry homeowner, or it could be one of the neighbors. Watch. So going back into it, so basically the purpose of the game is to deliver the mail properly without causing too much damage. The more damage you cause to any parts of the property, you will have a star system, and it will start to grow. So now, if you have any chase, how are you going to be able to How are you going to be able to survive? Obviously, you figure out by now this is actually a survival game. So you have pickup items that you can see you pick up. And there are also traps hidden within the game where you can get literally thrown off by a lawnmower or a dog, or there could be a dog chasing you and you may not even notice it. So, as you just saw me, I picked up a pickup item. We have three main pickup items that help you survive within the game. You have sugar rush, that is literally the toxic thing that you give a child, because they will never go to sleep. You have sugar rush, which is pretty much a speed boost. You have glue, and you have marbles. Blue is meant to slow the enemy down. Marbles is meant to disorientate the character just for a while. This is meant to disorientate the character. And that right there is the basis of the game. So, now coming back to it. What can 1 million cup community do to help? So my needs and challenges are very simple. One, I figure I need the very famous funding. I need funding so I can help fund full-time employees and specifically programmers and animators to minimize production time and also to keep production at a steady pace. Another thing that I need help with is advertising and PR support. So anybody that has a marketing agency or a PR agency that can help take it off my hands, especially with their advertisement, that'll be a ultimate plus to help me keep afloat and even give me a strong launch. Another thing I need help with is accounting support. I need to make sure I ain't burning everything, baby. I gotta make sure I ain't overspending my money, make sure I ain't running my business into the dirt. I need to make sure that I'm safe. And then lastly, I need help with connecting with businesses that need model services and design services that I displayed about our outsourced package that I displayed earlier. So next is, what is my goals? My goal is that once I finish this level that I'm working on right now, I'm actually planning and making out a second level that will be dedicated to Asheville. So I'll be looking for an area in Asheville to replicate me, or if I talk to anyone in Asheville sport, they can choose whoever, and I'll be replicating a part in Asheville, bringing it into the game, and yes, it will be called Asheville. Also, I look to open a physical location. I want to do this for many reasons. One, I want to open a physical location so I can hire local talent or even invite local talent in so I can bring more attraction to Asheville. I also have come up with a way to make a VR and AR tourist attraction that will be very, very helpful to Asheville as well. And also, depending on the size of the building, I do want to have a certain area in it that will be served as a wash house. Well, I want to wash clothes at a game studio because I want to give the homeless a place where they can wash clothes for free. And also, while they're there, I can be the employee to help them do tasks around the area. Next is, I want to be the face of the company. I want to be the face of Asheville because I want to inspire you, because that's actually what I do. I want to inspire the blacks. I want to inspire young black people because I never hide who I am. I never hide the way I talk. I never hide my appearance. Yes, I'm from the hood and I don't care, and I still talk that thugism. Y'all lucky I lost my goals when I was moving here. I would have really had done that. I lost that, but it's okay. But I want to be the face of that because I want to inspire them. Because just because you're from the hood doesn't mean like you have to act that way. Or just because someone is projecting their own images towards you, you don't have to make it come true. And lastly, before I get out of here, I want to share one thing that's very important. I've been my own man ever since 13. To be my own man ever since 13, living in Miami, to get to where I am today took a lot. I have had a lot of drive. I have a lot of ambition, a lot of strength, a lot of resilience. I had to scrape the claw just to get to where I am right now. So anybody that wants to support me or get along with the journey, regardless of its funding, just investment, or even just being a cool person, understand that you get that same 13-year-old boy I was then, but with the reinforcement of the man that you see today. And out of everything that I just said, remember this one important thing: I'm black and handsome.
Well, as you can tell, Leroy's an underachiever. So I don't know if we're going to have any questions for this guy because he's not doing very much. But maybe we have a few.
Thank you so much. The game kind of gets me reminiscing about a lot of like 90s games, early 2000s stuff. I see a lot of inspiration from different games. That's cool to see. Curious what you're building it in, kind of curious how you're funding it now. There's definitely a good sophistication with the logic that I saw. So just kind of curious how you're building it up.
Yeah, okay, so the game is actually built in Unreal 4, even though Unreal 5 is out. But we had already started in Unreal 4, like I believe it was 4.26. So that's the version that we're actually using. We're not looking to upgrade that because, I mean, it's actually working fine right now. And the next game that I'm actually looking to create, which I know is going to be big, that's going to be in 5. And pretty much how we're funding it right now, like I said, I'm making the game with zero budget. Besides the investment that I have already had saved up, which honestly is sucked that pretty quick. Wasn't expecting that. And people that is actually working on the game right now, actually people from my community that I built. That's kind of the reason why I built the community, because I wanted to support local artists or even artists as a whole, as we all are one. And I wanted to make a home for them. Because right now, as a game dev, and when we say game dev or any developer, we're talking about gaming and film. Because the film industry is in the game industry, and the game industry is in the film now. They have now merged, which some people may not have noticed. So even when I get like outsourced work and I'm too slumped up, I actually pass it to someone in the community. And the people that are on the team that I hire are actually from the community as well. So that eliminates the funding part of it, because they just kind of just believe in the dream.
Cool. How many like 3D modelers do you have, animators? Like, what's the team look like?
Right now we have it's around 9 people. We have 2 environment artists. We have myself, which as you can see, I'm well equipped with I'm pretty much everything. The stories, the level design, that's pretty much everything that I've done. And also I'm directing as well. I don't have a programmer, but I do have a tech artist, which is the real reason why I chose Unreal. Because Unity is fine, because the 2 main engines that game industry uses is going to be Unity and Unreal. The difference between the 2 is pretty simple. Like I started off on Unreal. I started off on Unity. Like I was married to Unity, then Unreal started to get kind of thick, and then she kind of won it over. So it's just a game.
Wow.
But yeah, but Unity is good if you have a team of coders. If a team of coders is scripted, then Unity can be very powerful. But Unreal is just for newer artists friendly, and they have nodes, and nodes is pretty much pre-scripted code. So you can pretty much get away with anything in Unreal, which is the reason why we went there. So me and the tech artist is the one that's doing a lot of the blueprints, and that's how we built out the actual game as far as getting away from the programming.
Cool, thank you. And last thing is, there was a plugin released, I think, recently this week about. The plugin is basically modeling the globe, right?
Yes.
So I'm not sure if you saw this. I think from Dojo Studios.
Yes.
So that would be a great resource to, I guess, to model Asheville. I'm sure you can retexture it, but just some thoughts on it. Might have some other resources for you too.
Yeah, that would be great. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all.
Just have a few questions for you.
Okay.
Some are serious and one I just got to know about the game.
All right.
The first one is have you ever thought about expanding to teach classes on Black Rocket, which teaches kids gaming? Because I think you'd be a great instructor at that.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least your vision of how you want to do this would be great to be part of that community as well.
Yeah.
The second question I have is, I know you mentioned that this is Unreal. Do you plan to make 3D Dojo Studios in Godot and some of the others as represented there as well, like have like multi game engines? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, to answer the first one, as far as the teaching wise though, I do teach heavily within the community that I have right now, because I've taught outside, like I said, just going to regular classrooms, and I've also done motivational speaking, which I don't feel like that's kind of obvious, because I'm not afraid to talk in front of a crowd. I got bigger ones than this, and I focus heavily on the youth. Like I teach people of all ages, doesn't really matter, but I do focus on the youth because I do feel like it's more important for them. Because right now, a lot of them are kind of lost, and they don't have a lot of things to do that actually keep them busy. It's not like how it was back in the day for us, which I'm not that old, but I was still fortunate enough to see it before it changed, where there was a lot of things that they had that they can run to instead of just playing video games. Like even video games existed then, but I was still more outdoor, playing football, playing ball on the block, playing, or coming up with weird game, street hockey, which is weird. But I focus on that because I want to get more broad. And one thing I learned about kids, such as myself, because I had many talents, and I had many talents because I was exposed to so many different things. So exposing them to the gaming industry and the different type of things that they can learn is actually very, very important. So I do a lot of teaching. Like now, I have workshops. Workshops are like every Sunday. And for the past week, we started doing. I'm teaching anatomy for characters, because characters is kind of what everybody want to be into, even though they don't know that's the hardest thing. So yeah, and I have gotten invited to school, but it's just to different schools. But I've been so busy creating the studio, it took a lot of my time, even for the community that I have too. So now things are slowing down because we pretty much almost achieved the ultimate. So now I'm more interested in try to talk to people and who want to go to the schools. Now to answer the second question is, right now I do focus more on Unreal as it's more easy once we start getting more funding things in and actually be able to metal things out, yes, I do intend to go back and be the number one shop. Like I like to be a one-stop shop. That's kind of like what I like to do. And even for me, I have some people that are very understanding of Unity. But I just feel like Unreal was just easier for us to start out right now, because this game right here is just starting point. And in this game, I was using this for a few reasons. One is a coming out party to 3 Dojo Studios to show you that we are serious and we are going to be the next best thing. And also, I wanted to help employ people inside of the community to give them a chance to get a shipped game on their resume. But as far as the platform goes, we are focusing on Unreal and console. So basically, console. So right now we're doing PC and console. So PC is obviously Steam, and then you have PlayStation, Nintendo, and Xbox option.
Awesome. Just one more, if you don't mind. This is a serious question. So in Grand Theft Auto 3, once you get 5 stars, the army comes in with tanks and choppers and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So when you get 5 stars in the Paperboy, what exactly happens?
You get OG Grand.
Leroy, can you talk a little bit about your launch and what your plans are to, as you release this, how you're doing it, marketing, that sort of thing?
So yeah, pretty much what I'm doing, I'm focusing on social media because that's kind of like a calling card right now, and actually coming up with a plan to release videos and clip on TikTok. The TikTok just happened to be just running away right now, especially as far as exposure. Another thing too is doing things on like YouTube, because I have a lot of different talents that kind of attract people in, and as they attract themselves into me, I actually pivot them. But as you heard before when I talked about the community, about the second part about the real reason why I made it because I use it as a marketing hub, because the community is actually multicultural. It's people there from all over, literally all over the globe. When I say all over the globe, there's people there from Germany, China, Singapore, there's people there from Mexico, Brazil, and they're very, very active. And I use their platforms to help promote the dojo and promote the game that's coming on right now. And even now I have the game in open private beta, and I have them out there playing it and streaming it on their Twitch and YouTube channels as well.
I got a question. So what's your revenue strategy for the game?
Right now, when the game launches, it's going to be set price at $10. So nothing really expensive, but I need that so I can be able to get the funds so I can invest that into our infrastructure to get more products that we need. Another way that the game's going to generate revenue is through skins. So if you think of something that's all-time favorite like Fortnite. Fortnite is free, but yet Fortnite makes millions and millions of dollars, and they don't make millions of dollars because they just have ads. They make millions of dollars because through skins. So skins is like dressing up in different clothes, or dressing up your guns and different type of graphics and things like that. So that's exactly what the game is going to have right now. It's actually already being created on the back end. So when you have a kid, depending on which one is their favorite, they'll have different outfits, and the bikes will have different outfits, and also there'll be upgradable bikes in there as well. And then periodically, we're going to add in special characters. And I don't know if you noticed, but like I said, I'm very big on diversity. Even the game had diversity on it as well. Like you notice that the main character is Neon. Yes, he's black, but Brittany's Spanish, and Tyler's Caucasian. The next one that's coming in right now is actually Asian. I'm doing this specifically. Like even in my community, I do the same thing. I have people there from all type of ethnicities. Like I have one of the very famous topics right now, Ukraine versus Russia. They're in there, and nobody's having a problem. And they all understand that, and I did that on purpose because I wanted to show and teach that whatever the media is showing you, don't believe that, because it's set for us to be divided. But when we come together, we actually become powerful.
I just wanted to say thank you so much, and I absolutely love what you're doing. I think it's amazing that you have such an incredible technical product and this mission behind what you're doing as well. And I wanted to compliment you on the characters. Oh my gosh, I was cracking up. Granny, who has a walker but she doesn't need it, is brilliant. And I don't have any questions. I just wanted to say thank you.
Well, you're welcome. That's just a starting point. It's a lot of things that's actually changing, and a lot of things actually growing in the game in general. So.
Yeah, thank you.
Good lookout. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I was wondering about, I hate to see the guy get beat down and then that's it. We'd be able to get off the bike and punch and kick and fall out.
See, I thought about that, but I didn't want to be that guy that cites the violence in the children.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't want to be known as that. And then on top of that, I am this, so I'm going to have to bear those consequences. So I don't want to be, I don't want to put myself in a line of fire.
Okay.
But you are going to be, like I said, you are going to be able to shoot certain things that help you get invaded. Like you can even be able to shoot like some of the characters kind of slow them down.
There's tricks.
Yeah.
Tricks.
There's also tricks within the game to help you generate more points as well. So, and also too, like I said, this is a leaderboard game, so your total score is going to be displayed to the general public on Steam. So, who's going to be the best paper boy or the best delivery girl? I don't know. That's up to y'all to decide.
Alright, and one more thing, would it be like side missions? Like,
Yeah. Well, in order to even make any game, you have to have some type of quest. So there will be quests and achievements in the game that you can get that's going to, help boost your confidence and you obtain this achievement and secret mission that's going to be in there as well. And like I come from the old school games where I still remember playing Final Fantasy, and Final Fantasy was a 4-disc game. You know what I'm saying? And then I also remember too, like when you played certain games before, and games used to teach you something, which is, as somebody pointed that out. You pointed out where it's kind of my games is kind of focused in that type of era because games back then used to teach you a lot. They teach you real life skills. They teach you about life ain't fair. They just teach you comprehension skills. Like Final Fantasy, like say for instance, if you couldn't connect past the game, you didn't advance. The game never told you where to go. You had to figure it out.
yeah.
And also, like, I sucked at reading. But when it hit the game, I read literally paragraph, I read a whole dictionary. Like, my dad used to keep me like that all the time. When I needed to improve my reading, he would just put me in the game so I could read. Because the game never read to me like I read now. So, there will be hidden things in the game for those reasons because I'm used to that. And also, I want you to actually look. So, there's actually hidden items in the game right now. And any model that I do is actually a hidden patches on it too, so that's just a little ooh, yeah.
I kind of find the paper delivery thing a little nostalgic almost because I came from, my generation for sure experienced it, but I'm not sure the next gen knows even about it. Are you good? I mean, is there a version 2.0 where it'd be like DoorDash or pizza delivery or, where it's
If they will partner with us, sure.
I love the concept because it makes sense to me. I like it a lot. And it's fun, and it's not irrelevant by a stretch, not at all. It's less of, paper deliveries.
Yeah, no, well, exactly what you said. I mean, if we get part of what we can actually get to fund this type of thing and actually increase the production time, then yes, that'd be an easy thing to make. But that's also through the skins. Because you can change the skins and make it look like a DoorDash person or change the video and add it for the game. Like right now, there's a skateboarder in the game, he can hit you. So there's certain items that can hit you and kind of get you wasted or knock you or caught or get busted. So when you put those certain skins up, you can change the person to be a piece of board delivery, things like that. So it'll give you that illusion. Another thing too, since you had the paperboy, food for thought for everybody. This is actually interesting. Recently, I found out that their job is actually unregulated. So if they want to break anything, nothing to do about it. But then again, that kind of makes sense because they wasn't getting over child labor.
Let's do like 1 or 2 more questions because we've got a treat afterwards, which is we're going to have 2 gaming centers, studios.
Yeah, I think
stations.
We're going to play the game in the back, the demo live, and right in the back of the TVs.
Yeah. So I want to make sure we have time to play as well. Like I said, we can be here until 10:30, so we've got some time to have fun.
All right, so I'm not a gamer, but I'm obsessed with blockchain. And I'm wondering if you're thinking of putting a version of this onto Ethereum so that potentially in the future you can use NFTs and skins within your game.
So many people have approached me about NFT. Literally, I had someone offer me $6K just to do NFTs for them specifically. So yeah, NFTs, I'm not opposed to it. That's something that I haven't quite thought about right now, but it has come to mind because I mean, a lot of things that I do on a personal level is a lot of composite and rendering that will speak to what NFT would be to sell that and make that type of revenue. But it's not something I thought about right now.
Because I think it'd be really cool, like your characters who I know someone else that are really cool, but I'm thinking like World of Women is a really popular NFT project. It'd be really cool to bring those characters into a game like this too.
Yeah, I'm definitely not opposed to it. I can definitely see how that would work, especially because once we get done with the game, we will, on Unreal, put all assets that we created free to grab for anybody, so you can support like any other indie game studios, and then there will be a lot of pictures rendered in our gallery, because we also build a gallery book, because that's kind of what you need to do in games, and a lot of those would actually work good with NFTs. So that's something that's out. That's something to look into.
Okay, one more.
That's all I got.
So I know some of the statistics that Sean was just announced, like 45% gaming. Some of the stats out there is it's really heavily mobile. It's like Candy Crush and those types of things.
Yeah.
So is there, what's the hurdles there? Because I know you mentioned PC, console. Is there just more hang-ups or hiccups for trying to get on mobile? I feel like it'd be a great fit.
No. Mostly anything can be converted to like mobile. I mean, mobile is just it's a lower resolution, but now since the newer phones have been coming out, they can handle more resolution now and more, pretty much more heavier games. So it's pretty much just a setting shift. So in Unreal, they have a preset settings that you can turn on so it can actually be mobile ready. So it's nothing. There's no real hassle to kind of convert it to either or. It's just that right now we're focused. We built the game for PC, so it'll be on Steam. And as far as like Steam, another thing that Steam does too, that it does help itself with its own marketing than anything that comes on its own platform. So it kind of like literally just throw it in there and kind of dispense it itself. And anything that you do outside of that, so a nice little sprinkle rather that on top of that.
All right, we have some in-game merch for Leroy. Here you go.